Hi, how are you? Just doing a little cleanup work on the bike here. Gonna get it out this weekend, hopefully, if the weather cooperates. Yeah, everything's good. So, thought I'd talk to you a little bit about the plan. And I feel bad because I told everybody that I like to listen twice as much as I talk, and it seems like I'm doing a whole bunch more talking, but it's just about your turn. I think we need to do some engagement. So, here's the plan. I want to lay out the time frame. I want to ride the bike this summer. What I'd like to do over the summer is get your ideas, talk to some people. Ideally, I think it'd be great if we can talk to some manufacturers, get some people to give us some input. There's lots of great companies out there with great products. I'd like to know more about them. I've mentioned a couple of times that the 883 just isn't enough anymore, and that needs to be stepped up. And I'd love to hear from manufacturers who do a big bore kit. It'd be interesting to get all the details and basically find out why I should use brand X big bore kit for my Sportster. So that's some of the stuff that we want to do. Over the summer, from now until September, we're going to do a lot of fact-finding, getting information on different things, getting some input from you, figuring out where things should be done, how we can get things done in the fall. September is when the bike comes apart. That's when the work will start. However, it doesn't mean that all the ideas have to be in by then. I'd like to have an idea of budget by the end of the summer. I'd like to have some ideas in place and maybe some parts already on the shelf and ready to go. But we can continue to develop the bike. I'm thinking probably through to January. January to May is when we're really going to have to get the work done. That's when paint needs to happen, all that stuff. Engine work can maybe be done a little bit ahead of that. We'll just have to see how things shape up and how time goes and how things come together. But ideally, ready to ride by May of next year. I never get excited in this part of the world about getting out much before mid or end of May. It's still pretty chilly out there. We put a lot of gravel on the roads in Alberta, so there's a lot of gravel on the roads. I don't necessarily want to go ride in it. And of course, May and June are our wet months, so opportunities are limited. But if I'm ready to go June 1st, 2021, I'll be a happy guy. So that's kind of the time frame that I'm looking at right now, and we can get started anytime. So in terms of getting started, I think what I'd like to do is I'm going to go over and pick up the camera, and I'd like to show you some features of the bike, some things about the bike that I'm stuck on. They're not negotiable. I don't want to give them up. And I'm going to show you other things about the bike, and I'm going to reveal some things that a lot of people don't notice that I know are wrong, and just let you know what is negotiable, what can change. And I have to give a shout out, and son of a gun, I don't have his handle right handy, but I'll certainly tag him in the post. One of the first replies I got, maybe the first reply, come to think of it, when I said, I want your input on this, is I got a reply that said, narrowed Paco Springer front end, maybe 4 over. Well, that is perfect. That's exactly the kind of input I want. I'm going to show you here, not in this video, but in one of the next ones. I do have a Springer front end here. It's not a Paco, but it is a Springer front end. So we'll take a look at that. And really what it comes down to is, this is part of the budgeting process. Was I planning to buy a new front end? Not really. I was kind of thinking that I could make do with something I've got here. At the same time, though, if there's a really good reason to go with a certain brand of front end, I'm open to doing that, because this bike needs to be right. I want this bike to be done and last me a long, long time. So it's that kind of stuff. I really appreciate the input. I had one fellow reply to me that he would help me with aluminum parts. He'd machine aluminum parts that I need for the build. Fantastic. That's great to hear, and I really appreciate that kind of stuff. So, looking forward to your feedback. I'm going to walk over there, grab the camera, and I'll give you a little bit of a tour of the bike, and like I say, show you some of the things I really like, and some of the things that maybe aren't so great. All right, be back to you in a minute. So here we go. I picked up my camera. Some of the things, I guess one of the first things, not negotiable, spoked wheels. I love spokes. And these in particular, I think really suit the bike. I love the chrome's in really good shape. There's nothing wrong with these rims. I do like the white walls on the bike as it is now, but I'm not against changing the tires. And honestly, these tires are, they've been around for a while. They may be getting a little dry. They got a lot of tread, but they might be getting a little dried out. So changing the tires, depending on the look, is maybe something that we can do. One of the things I need to do something about on the bike is this rear fender. I love the shape of the rear fender. Let me just see if I can get it in field for you there. There we go. I love the shape of the rear fender, but there's some issues with it. First issue is the paint doesn't match the tank. Obviously, somewhere along the way, somebody, you know, whoever did the tank, it was a guy in Saskatchewan, I believe. This fender came along afterwards, and somebody tried to make it look the same, and at first glance, if you see the bike going by on the road, it's okay, but it doesn't really match. The other thing, if I can get you in tight here, is it's got lots of scars on it. It wasn't prepped very well, wasn't done very nicely, and this mount, I can get you in here. This mount is huge, ugly. I gotta tell you, I just don't like it. So this fender, the shape, the length, the way it fits the bike, I'm good with all of that. I need to change the mount, and the fender, I don't know if I should work with this one, or if I should buy a new fender and trim it and do something with it. The other option I have is I'm learning how to work with carbon fiber, and I've been thinking I could use this fender to pull a mold and then make a carbon fiber fender off of that mold. Would be kind of interesting, and it's something that can be done. Looking at the engine here, we need more displacement, we need more power, but I will say that I like the finish. I don't think I'm going to go the black route. I think I'm going to stick with this kind of finish. But again, not totally decided on that yet, but fairly. The frame on the bike, I like it. It's good, and I can get into some tabs and changing some things and cleaning it up, and maybe getting rid of some of the extras up front. But all in all, I like the frame, I like the stance of the bike, I sure like the way it rides and handles, so I don't think I want to get into any kind of major frame modification. The style of the tank, love the Sportster tank. Always have, think it's a very cool design. However, I do have some ideas that might allow us to use a little bit different style tank. Yeah, we'll talk about that. The gas cap, that's a keeper. I love that gas cap. Needs to be polished up some, cleaned up some, and put something in the center of it to trim it up nice. But I do like the gas cap. I get a kick out of it, and I think that's one thing that has to stay on the bike. The handlebars, very happy with the handlebars. They're a good height for me. I like the look. I like the position. I don't see any need at all to change the bars. I think they can stay. It may depend a little bit on what we do for a front end. This front end, absolutely I'm not stuck on. It would require, if we were going to go with the forks like this, certainly I'd have to polish up those lowers, change that up, but you know, the Springer front end thing sure has my interest. We might be able to do something with that. Up items, I got to admit, look at those cables and look at that brake line. Man, those are just way too long. They're functional. I've ridden with them like that, but that's got to get cleaned up, and we got to get some proper sized cables on there. The forward controls, not bad in terms of look and finish. And the positioning is good. I will tell you though that obviously whoever put it together didn't have all the pieces when they did it. So I had to have a section to go in between the frame. I don't know if I can get you in there to see that. But I had to source out some big nuts, if you will. Some big nuts and have them welded together, and it just, it's very functional again, but doesn't look great. I wouldn't mind doing something with the forward controls. I love the tail light. I'm good with it. It suits the bike. It suits me. It's kind of a retro deal. I'm real happy with it. The license plate holder, I fabbed that up myself over at a motorcycle shop that's no longer in Calgary, with a fellow over there by the name of Tim, who's a great fabricator. Tim and I worked on that and put that together, and again, I'm happy with that, and it's a piece that I made. Needs to be chromed up or plated, you know, gold plated somehow, but yeah, it'll do the trick. It's just fine. The discs, we're going to have to match up discs. As you can see, the rear disc does not match the front one. I love the seat. The seat's great. It's nice black leather. It's a good seat. Position's good. It's well mounted. No issues there. The Paco exhaust, that was one of the first things that I put on the bike when I got it. Great exhaust. Absolutely love it. The look is right. The sound is great. Very, very happy. Just going to get around to the front here. Very happy with that exhaust, so I have no issue with that at all. This this cover on this side is kind of brutal. I like the open sprocket on the side of the bike. It's kind of cool. The brake cylinder, the master cylinder there, is okay. I like that too. But you can see, and this is the kind of stuff I don't like to show people, but the guy who trimmed this cover. Looks like he probably just ran a cut down it and then busted it off to shorten it up. The other thing that's kind of ugly is up here you can see where he actually took a saw to it, and he's got a couple different saw lines going through it. So I think I need to clean that up. Need a new cover probably, and we'll figure out something for that. The speedometer on this bike is good. It's in a good position. I can't see it when I'm riding unless I take my eyes really off the road, which is probably not a great idea. What it says to me is I'm really not concerned about how fast I'm going, and I like that message. So I think we'll stick with that. I like the idea of proper fittings and proper braided hose. You know, worm clamps, they're just not the look that I'm after. So we're going to change that stuff up and make it a little racier and tidy. And you know, I love the oil line underneath for draining the oil when you change it. That is, let's see if we can get a shot of it here. That is just stuck on a piece on the frame, and the clamp tightened down to hold it in place. It's always concerned me that if I forgot or did something wrong, dumping all the oil right in front of the back tire like that is probably not a good idea. Make for an exciting afternoon, I'm sure, but probably not a good one. And you know, forward controls on this side. Again, I like the brake pedal. No issue with that. The chrome is nice. The pegs match the hand grips. I'm okay with a combination of brass and chrome. I think it's a good look. That doesn't mean that we can't change that, but I don't mind a well-balanced combination of brass and chrome. The other thing I like is that oil tank. Just one of the things that stands out on the bike. You know, the pinstriping tape to do the spade is maybe a little bit rough. We can tidy that up when we paint the bike. Maybe we'll match the tank or something, but I don't mind that tank at all. I kind of like it. Wiring, the wiring's a disaster. It's functional, works, doesn't get me in trouble. However, it's ugly, and I haven't even had that box out of there. I have no idea what's going on in there, but I got a pretty good idea that I don't like it. So that is pretty much the bike. Headlight, don't care either way. Turn signals, those are okay, and maybe they suit the bike going forward. But again, not adverse to changing them. You know, the only thing is I don't really want to get into changing tabs and stuff, but for as far as we're going with this bike, what the heck, if we have to cut off some tabs and put some new ones on, it's all doable. So that is my bike, and that's the good, the bad, and the ugly, if you will. The other, while I'm here, the other thing that we got to change is this mess right here. I think we're going to go keyless. Probably take a look at something like Digital Guard Dog. We'll go keyless, and we'll try and move that coil and a bunch of stuff, clean that up, tidy it up, make it look much better than it does there. All right, well, that's my bike, and happy to get any input from you that you want to give me. Again, love the idea of a different front end. You can start giving me thoughts. Any of the suppliers out there, manufacturers, boy, if you want to pitch me your products, tell me what you like, why I should use your products, I'm all ears. I want to hear from you. Well, now you've seen it. This is what we're starting with. Lots of work to be done on this. It can be tidied up a whole bunch. I've shown you the good, the bad, and the ugly about the bike. You know, I think we've got a good base to work from, but we've certainly got some changes to make. I'm going to get back to cleaning. It doesn't look like the weather's going to work for the weekend, but hey, there's another weekend 5 days out from this one, so I'm going to get back to this. Thanks for being with me. Hope to see you again soon.